I'm pretty sure we're live. Yeah, we are live. How we doing, guys? We're here for the review. We are doing a Thanksgiving review, too, of sorts, because we have a kid match to discuss. There was a lot of football, and I'm glad I was saying before the show, I'm glad we do the recap the way we do, where we look at everything, and then we apply it for next week. Because really, if we went through it with a fine-tooth comb, I think there's just been a lot of information that truly been forgotten. I know a lot of review shows I listened to this week couldn't even remember back to Thanksgiving. So it'll be kind of a recap for myself. I know Jonathan Smith played really well, and a lot of the chalk hit on Thursday. We actually finally saw some profit for the first time, which was nice. But yeah, I thought our lineups looked very well. Gov also has the DK live up, so we can look back at some of the better scores of the week. Donnie, what was your takeaways from the week?
I mean, I'm not really shocked with how this week went, outside of Jameis having like the most Jameis Winston performance ever.
Yeah.
Which is
it was so good.
I mean, it's so fun. Good. He's so fun.
The man threw 6 touchdown passes.
Russ is actually like, man, I never on my radar, and I'm just like, that game environment made a lot of sense. Cincinnati's always got high-scoring games, and it's just, how do you not think of it?
We did like that Steelers offense better than most people if you look at our best portfolio. And if Gov allows us, we are doing pretty well in one best ball team. So we can talk about that coming up next week. That has a Joe Burrow stack, by the way. So we're still hoping for those points, even though they are eliminated from the playoffs. This is a funny week because we mentioned the Jameis Winston, Donnie mentioned it with Jameis Winston having a real, it was a fun game. There was a lot of island games almost. We had Black Friday, we had Thanksgiving. So we saw a lot of, your focus was only on one game at a time. And man, did we see some hurricane performances where it's really fun at times, really bad football at other times. And here we are somewhere in the middle. At times I'm like, man, the NFL is such a great product. And then at other time I'm like, man, the NFL is such a bad product. But then I get into the Discord with, Gov and the guys from our Discord channel. And I'm like, this is what we're all joking around. We're having fun. I'm like, this is what the NFL is about. To me, this week was just a whirlwind of all kinds of emotions, like happy, sad, indifference.
And the Patriots, of course, broke my heart on the last play for the 5th time this year. So, that's always fun.
Yeah, well.
Bryce Young is the GOAT.
Yeah, Bryce Young, crazy game from him.
Goat,
Shout out to him.
Goated. Absolutely goated.
Adam Thielen, I love the guy. Truly. He's so fun to watch.
Absolute goated. Straight up goated.
I'm so glad I stuck with Bryce Young. Even if he doesn't have a great franchise level performance, people are, because that's the thing is he looks bad and people want to give up on him. Then he looks all right and people are like, well, I don't want to trust it. And now it's well, if you do trust it, they want to make him into this franchise player. Can we just enjoy what he is right now? To me, it's a fun project to watch. I love watching someone develop, and that's what we are seeing with Bryce Young.
He honestly, truly, I don't think he's had a single game that makes me say, oh, wow, what a great job by him. He's played well. He's not been I think it's been a little overhyped.
To be fair, how many games have you actually gotten to watch? Because they haven't had a primetime game all year.
That's true, but
it's a Germany game, but you have to be a hardcore like me to wake up at 9 in the morning to watch it.
Yeah, I had to. That was the only game I got to watch all the way through.
I mean, he's shown flashes, but I guess we can even move on from just one specific player, but I think we do that a lot with players. It's we take one flashball moment of players and we apply it to their whole career or their whole season. It's in the beginning of the year, 9 people wanted to believe in the Vikings, for example, and now it's oh, well, now we have to hate Sam Darnold because they're not. It's no, they've still only lost 2 games. They're a good team.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Bryce Young, if you look at it, he still didn't have a great game. I mean, still under 60% completion. He had that one touchdown, which was really nice, and he showed he's starting to at least show me stuff. He's shown at least some flashes finally.
I'm okay with you saying it's not there for you, but it's been there for me for 3 weeks. But
no, last month, he's shown flashes of stuff, but it's still sloppy. At least after a year and a half, I can say I've seen flashes.
But no, what I'm saying is, like, I'm okay with you having an opinion. I think, like, we should embrace that more, is these people having difference of opinions. Like, even we had that argument with, Lawrence and the concussion thing. It's like, so many people don't want to have those nuanced discussions. They almost want to be right or wrong. Like, even watching the game with Gov this last week, with the Panthers, it's like we were watching it with the DFS lens, which I don't know if it's bad or good, but then people are like, well, this chalk hit and that chalk hit. Meanwhile, there's a good game going on, and we're talking about DFS, which I guess is good and bad. I don't know.
With the Bryce Young thing, I don't know what the difference is between him finally deciding, hey, I'm going to throw the ball downfield for once. Like, because that was not a thing he was doing before he got back.
Well, I think it wasn't even like he wasn't deciding that. It was more like indecisive anyway. It's like he's behind on every throw because he's indecisive and not keeping pace with the offense. He just needed to sit and learn the pace of an NFL offense so that he could actually run one.
Maybe
he was always the quarterback that needed to sit for a while to start, and he never got that chance.
I mean, I didn't mean to derail the show. We can get into whatever topic, but the whole point is just, I feel like we get so insulated in this DFS bubble or this like fantasy bubble, or like I have to cheer for this player. So then you only look for that one outcome, and we forget to have a kind of a nuanced discussion. So that was kind of my overview this week, was just like we're forgetting to have this like Bryce Young. He's not there yet, but it's a fun development. I think we forget to watch development. So even, you mentioned the Patriots, Johnny, with like Drake May. He's developing. That's a fun watch if you actually watch it for that. But if you're waiting for him to be the superstar today, that's not the case.
Well, my thing is, like, Drake May's obviously struggled, and some of the interceptions are, but he's also behind such a bad offensive line trying to make. I've seen so many Drake May flashes, and I finally can say I'm seeing some stuff from Bryce Young that's making me happy. If you asked me literally a month ago, I would have said I've seen 0 flashes of anything so far. That's not the case anymore. This month has been very successful for him. Hopefully he keeps it up. I want him to keep it up. I outside of
it'll help
Deshaun
when he gets
Watson,
actual talent to throw to.
Yeah.
Outside of
like
Deshaun
as
Watson,
much as I love the goated Adam Thielen, like it's still Adam Thielen.
Yeah. There's only one guy in the league that I can't say, I don't want you to succeed. Like, I want most of these guys to succeed, like, unless you're just a genuine bad person.
So Aaron Rodgers.
There's some of those, yeah.
I mean, Rodgers can succeed as long as it's not in a Jet uniform.
I legit thought that, one more side topic, I legit thought that that Netflix documentary that's coming out with Aaron Rodgers that he like co-promoted or co-produced was a gimmick. Like, I thought it was a total joke on Twitter or X, and I'm like, wait, this is an actual trailer that's actually happening on. Like, I had like legit like actual like Adam Scheffler style professionals had to tell me like, no, this is a legit trailer for me to believe it. I'm like, what? Wait, this is a thing, but it is wild. So anyways, after all those subtopics, please like and subscribe. I use all of our promotion time up on this nonsense. So at least do me the favor and like and subscribe. What did you guys think of this lineup? This is the lineup that cashed. I figured we'd throw a curveball. We'd throw a lineup that actually cashed right from the start, just to show that we don't necessarily care about profit as much. Although I have to be honest, when I first told Gov this cash, he was like, it's about time. We deserve that one. But we do look at things from a process perspective. I thought we actually got a lot wrong in this lineup, actually. I liked some of our other lineups the last couple of weeks. This one I think we kind of got lucky on. Now, it was Lamar Jackson that got us there at the last second, and we did kind of play that.
Garbage time Lamar, low-owned McBride. Yeah.
I think there is 3 absolutely perfect plays that went exactly how we needed them to, exactly what we wanted them to do. We had Bucky Irving, which we were on Tampa Bay's run game that whole.
We ate the right chalk there. It was just the best spot. Yeah.
Trey McBride. I mean, he was a dog last week. He got the same work this week. I really was 4 yards off. Even better
catches. My God.
Yeah. I mean, and Kendrick Bourne. Having 7 points, he should have had 14, but a touchdown got called back from an illegal shift. Like, Oh my God. That was 3 that just finally. And then the one that should have been great, but Jalen Hurts sucks, is AJ Brown. Once again,
Yeah,
Jalen
the
Hurts is
AJ
not a
Brown
good
one
quarterback.
hurts. AJ Brown hurts. Oh God.
But careful using the S word, Donnie. He sucks because people will go back and they'll find this in 97. And luckily, I'm born in the 90s, so people can't find my bad takes. I'm just saying, you're a kid of the internet generation. You better be careful.
I don't care. He's a crappy passer. I've said that before. I'm going to continue to say it until he proves that he can pass the football against a bad pass defense in Baltimore. And that was the way they were supposed to win. And Saquon just took the MVP, probably outside of Josh Allen, because Jalen Hurts once again can't show up.
They were never supposed to win that way. Philly's going to win games running the ball. If they're supposed to win throwing, I agree with you. They're going to lose that game.
Yeah, Saquon has to do so much for this offense for it to succeed.
I would agree with that, but we are seeing I did not expect this low of a throw rate from the Eagles. I think
because it's clear they don't trust him.
All year, 25 throws is like a cap. So for him to only get 18 or 19 does not actually surprise me.
Yeah, it's clear they do not trust him as a passer.
But
I always knew Lamar was the higher ceiling play in this game because he's the one who would have to push.
And see, we always say we put a emphasis on the reviews for next week. So I find this week to be very interesting how Saquon Barkley was going against the best rush defense, and next week he's going against the best, the worst defense in the league. So he should have the best matchup. So
how many people are going to play Saquon this coming week?
I can't wait till Kenny Gainwell, goes crazy on him.
Jalen Hurts might have 4 tush pushes.
For real, honestly.
Yeah. I would still stay away from it.
Or is this the week AJ Brown goes off and everyone plays?
That would piss me off.
It could be. And honestly, that's why I'm staying away from it, because DraftKings literally priced up Saquon. He's over 9K, I believe. So
over 9,000?
I believe so. I think he's 91.
Good job, Cub. I understood.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know enough pop culture reference. All I watch is football.
Okay. Let's talk about the defense. Made no sense, I guess. I get why we played it, but Tennessee defense
Titans has been good. We just basically played last defense in. Now, again, my favorite cheap defense was the Jets this week, and that was one of the better defenses to have, unless you were able to get up to the Chargers, which is the 3rd defense on my list.
Yeah, I actually I haven't heard much. I didn't hear much about the Chargers last week, but Juno happened to play it, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." And then it went off, and I'm just like, "Oh." Made up for.
I played some Chargers this week. Mainly,
it was the Atlanta Falcons side that really made
Chargers. I will attack Kirk Cousins, a weak Kirk Cousins, anytime I get a chance to. Especially on FanDuel where they were cheaper. I think we got very unlucky with Brian Thomas. He obviously had a decent game with 18, but Trevor missed him on a pass I just thought could have easily went for a 30-yard touchdown. And then Mac Jones just didn't look efficient like you would expect a backup quarterback that hasn't.
Well, Mac got him there. Brian Thomas was at 1 fantasy point till Mac came in. So Mac actually got him there.
I mean, to be fair, 235 and 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Mac did his job when he came in.
Yeah, Mac, I mean, geez, he played really well, honestly. From what I saw.
No,
I mean, because the Trevor Lawrence thing happened early, so that's the only reason BTJ even got close to being there was Mac was somewhat efficient.
Well, that's the weird part is the whole offense was efficient, but really Thomas was not. He got there on only 4 plays, but a lot of those were. I mean, he could have had 30 as well, Antonio. I watched that game. He had so many chances to really have a big game.
And that might have been timing with Mac Jones. I could give you that.
That's what I'm saying. I wasn't even trying to blame one or the other. I think if the game plan would have been different had they prepared for Mac Jones.
Agreed.
I'm going to go back to McBride, though. One of these weeks he's going to get a touchdown and absolutely smash. They're playing Seattle next week. I think a
very important game. That game's going to be huge, I think, scoring-wise.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up too. I want to try to attack games that are actually important. I think that is actually going to matter next week too for fantasy.
This is where all the division teams are going to really start meeting up. Every team should have about 3 division games left in last 5 weeks of the season, 4 weeks of the season, like
2 to 3, most of the teams. Yeah.
So we're going to see a lot of like close games. You need to know the matchups, how these coaches play against each other, whatnot. If it's a high scoring division, that because again, Pittsburgh, we know that usually their division has low scoring games, but unless you play Cincinnati, when you play Cincinnati, everyone's going for 30. And we completely ignored that passing side when we.
That might be Cleveland here with Jameis the rest of the year too. Like fucking Jameis.
Yeah, honestly, like you just Brown stack and also have the defense that's playing the Browns because they're gonna score touchdowns as well.
Oh yeah, you can stack Jameis with any one of his receivers and the opposite defense. It's clear.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned off the top about how we had so many island games. It was like. Watching all these island games, I'm like, I know what this game is. This game is fun. This game is exciting. I have both quarterbacks in the showdown. I'm like, I'm winning money, winning props. All I need is the Browns to cover 6.5. Like, this should be easy, and it did not happen. So like, this NFL,
and they really should have if Jameis didn't throw that final pick.
But what I'm saying is I almost expect it. Like, even when the Lions, like we saw them, beat up the Bears for the first half, and the second half the Bears come back. I think if the NFL season's taught me nothing so far this season, it's just never cash. Well, first of all, never cash any bet. Play within your means. But like this season especially, just don't count your chickens before they hatch. Most literally, that's literally what I've learned the most. Man, it's crazy to say. Like I just mentioned, how Brian Thomas should have had more points. Trey McBride should really have more points. There's no reason. I mean, he was so efficient with those 12 targets. I mean. I shouldn't have to tell you he was efficient with 12 targets, but I mean, it was almost
12 catches. It was probably more than 12 targets.
Yeah, it was probably more. I'm saying like he was almost unlucky not to have a touchdown. Like that's how often he was being used. Just for some reason they went to Marvin Harrison Jr.
And can you show one of the other lineups that didn't cash, just so we can see what's different about him? I mean, I know the second one is pretty close, probably.
Yeah, I think this was ours too. My personal didn't do it as well.
Tommy Tremble. See now here.
Vidal too, no Chargers running backs hit. That was fun.
Yeah, it was the opposite that which you kind of brought up this point, and I even played it in cash with it. It was Justin Herbert. If you played the passing game, Justin Herbert, I had Lad with it. It was very smart. I mean, that was their run game essentially.
I think we kind of got unlucky with the passing of Justin Herbert. This is my personal. I'll show the other group lineup if I want, but this point still stands. The Chargers defense got a pick six. They played really well on defense, which limited Justin Herbert's snaps on offense. If that passing game had been used, I think Vidal would have got more usage, and then Herbert might have got there. But there was a lot of good plays and a lot of plays left on the field. Like Flowers, for example, had at least 2 or 3 more big plays that he just didn't cash in on.
I just want to double check the box score of this Chargers Falcons because did what's his name? Did Gus Edwards do anything or no?
No, Gus had basically like 1 more point than Vidal. I think all of the Chargers running backs combined had less than 6 points.
And
so running backs wise, they had 12 total carries as a team. Like that's okay. Wow.
I mean, it's not okay at all. I mean, it's actually not okay.
That's very frightening. Yeah. But like even Herbert only had 23 pass attempts. So you're telling me that they only had 35 plays as an offense. Like what?
That pick sixes will flip a game's narrative very easily.
That's crazy though. The Falcons dominated time of possession, 36 minutes to 24. My lord.
Well, my point with the play wasn't that he was a great play. It's just he was so much of a better play than Gus Edwards, given Gus's ownership and then style of game. I'm like, because I expected that game to kind of be a shootout, and I'm like, if that game's a shootout, I could see Vidal getting on the field and not Gus because they'll be throwing. I would have never guessed this kind of game, even though I played the Chargers defense.
See, I played the Chargers defense, but I played them with the running backs, thinking that kind of game script. And
exactly, like that's what I'm saying. Is even in a game script where I thought the Chargers defense would have played well, I wouldn't have picked this game. There's not a single, speculation type game that I could have guessed that the Chargers would play like this, because Ladd had 15 points in the first quarter and then got hurt. So there was just a lot of fluky variance.
Well, I just
Bryce Young, Mike Evans, Tommy Tremble, great stack, great.
So Vidal, I mean, he had 12 snaps. Gus Edwards had 24. So Vidal just didn't get carries when he was on the field. Neither did Gus. Neither did Hassan Haskins when he had his 7.
Here's our other lineup. This is the draft lineup. Yep, both Bucky and White, the Herbert stack, double Puka Cup. Yep.
Now, I know I posted in the Discord, but the Bucky Irving and White thing, for me, it worked. We went into
what I wanted out of it was 35 plus to 40 points. I got 38, 39.
Yeah,
well,
put them together. That's not horrible.
I'm glad you brought that up, because really that is what we preach and that is what we got. Now it looks different because you see a flame and a snowflake, so you think but we got exactly what we wanted from that stat.
And let's not forget, White had 2 or 3 touches on the 1 yard line, and all the times he got stuffed. One of the drives led to a field goal. One of them got a Mike Evans, a ridiculous one-handed grab for a touchdown,
right?
And the other one got a Bucky Irving touchdown. So it very well could have easily been White in those situations getting that. And it could have been Irving having 22 and then White having, it would have equaled out to the same points, but it would have looked better.
And that was Gov's point with the stack, and I'll let him get onto it because I really think it was a brilliant point. I kept giving Gov more and more credit as the week went on, because at first I'm like, this is crazy. But then the more I thought of it, it's just the same as a quarterback and running back or a quarterback and wide receiver stack. The two don't necessarily help each other, but if the game script goes the way Gov was thinking it was, then they both benefit, because McMillan hadn't been a successful number 2 wide receiver. They basically thrown to Mike Evans and that's it. They don't have Godwin. So if they use one of those in more of a receiving role, and we get that 40 points, then we're golden. We didn't get the 40 points the way we would have probably thought, but it still almost got there for that.
Yeah, was I thinking closer to 25-15 flatter kind of thing? Yeah.
Right.
But 30
that's the touchdown.
30-10 is the same thing, yeah.
That's if White doesn't get stuffed, which, I mean, honestly, that's not White's fault. That's more the offensive line.
If White doesn't get stuffed, now he's at 14. He's not a snowflake. That's a smash play.
Right. Well, and, we were in regulation, and I had a lineup with the same thing at both my running back spots, and it was cashing. And then overtime hit, and Bryce Young had the couple passes downfield, and Thielen had that crazy one-handed catch, probably the catch of the year, right up there with Garrett Wilson.
Thielen.
And I was like, oh, God, they're going to kick a field goal, and it's going to lose now because of overtime. Then the turnover happens, obviously. Thank you, Chuba. And Rachaad White pulls off that 40-yard run, and I'm right back into cashing. So, I got very lucky or unlucky, or it just evened itself out, and it was both. I got back to where I was supposed to be. But
I think the guy meant to send this in a comment, and he sent it as a message. So I'll have to translate it here. But they were basically wondering why we played the 2 Rams without Stafford. Was that a mistake, or because I think I went to the bathroom to be fully transparent when you guys were having that major discussion. So do you think that was a mistake, or do you think that was a good leverage? What was the decision behind that play?
Well, I mean,
no, it was good leverage.
In theory, I mean, it makes a lot of sense because they both were. Can you check how many targets Cup had?
I believe 6, but I'll see if it's updated because sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't.
So it was 6.
6, yeah.
That's got to be season low, right? Outside of when he got hurt in games,
pretty much yes. From what I'm seeing here, 10, 11, 7, 14, 20. 21.
Even the game he got hurt against Arizona, he had 6 targets. To have his season low in targets, I am not upset about that. That just is unfortunate, and it happened.
Right. If your season low is 6 and then your season high is 21, well, you can take the median and be fine with that.
Yeah, truly, I don't care that Cup failed. Puka got there. Cup usually gets there. It's not a big deal. It happens,
I think the internal discussion was, if we're going to play both Rams, why are we not playing Stafford?
Well, I mean,
I'm like, well, you know what?
It would have been better to play Stafford in this lineup. To be fair.
Like ideally, like again, both of those guys get more targets, and then they get there on volume, and you don't need it from Stafford because someone else is better.
Yeah.
And in theory, Herbert was going to have to do a lot to win the game without any running game, but he didn't have to do anything because he was just watching his defense win the game for him.
So I basically said it right then, because I said, well, the way I would defend it is those are condensed offenses. We're trying to find a way to be different with that, with that game theory. This was already a different lineup playing White and Bucky in the same lineup. So if we're going to be concentrated and have that very narrow-minded game script, we might as well go very narrow-minded with the Saints and be totally different. Like if this lineup hits, then no one's kind of laughing at it like, wow, well, I could see that. The Rams offense is condensed. The Bucs offense is very condensed. Even if we would have played Mike Evans, they don't throw to many targets.
Well, I mean, for example, Cup, super high targets usually. Again, 6 is season low, and this is the first time he's had 6 while playing the whole game. Kendrick Bourne had 3 more points and could have had 14 points. I would have never said Kendrick Bourne's a better play than I almost did it. Cooper Kupp. I almost said Puka Kupp. But
that's an old callback for all the OGs with their content for a long time.
But no, obviously Cooper Kupp, even with a snowflake, is a much better play than Kendrick Bourne, even though Kendrick Bourne should have had 14 points this week.
Well, agreed. Although Kendrick Bourne's ownership was very nice. Like I like
Kendrick
that idea.
Bourne, I'm proud of that call. I played in pretty much every lineup.
and you've been peeking that out for a while now. I know you've been watching his utilization reports. You've been watching the games as a fan, and you kind of been seeing like he even got unlucky. I believe it was that game where he called a touchdown. I got called back, and then Antonio Gibson actually got
his first rushing touchdown as a Patriot. Yeah. Even onto that, like. That Kendrick Bourne play, I had initially said, and I still had played and I didn't change anything, but I initially said if Douglas plays, I don't like it as much. Even with Douglas playing, it still got to, it was there. It's what I wanted. So, hey, it worked out. Cool. It happens. Sometimes it doesn't work out and you live with it as well. I'm glad I found the cheap guy that wasn't the obvious cheap guy like the Panthers guy.
I do want to talk about the Thanksgiving cage match because we said we would. So for a fun exercise, do you remember what won you the contest, Gov? Spoiler alert, you did win.
It was garbage time Tua.
Yeah.
I was wondering because it's been so long since we talked about that slate. I was wondering if you'd even remember. So it is funny.
It was garbage time Tua, definitely. It was the late game hammers that I built my whole lineup around.
Yeah, you should be able to pull it up, or I can pull it up if that's easier for you, Logan.
It might be. I'm going to try to find it, though.
Oh, you got to go more than last 3 days.
Oh, that's right. I knew there was a feature I was missing somewhere.
Well,
here it is.
I will say, so the garbage time Tua stuff, and it did lose me. It blatantly was the reason I lost, and I was very upset by it. But garbage time
Tua to Jonnu, and then Jaden Reed. Oh God.
Garbage time Tua did get me very nice cashing in Thanksgiving actual contest. So who's the real winner here, Gov?
Me.
I think
you see the 157 and the 149. Like it's pretty like me. This guy right here. Who's the winner?
All right. The comments can answer.
It's pretty clear. Me.
Yeah, the comments can answer whether they'd rather the $5 or the bragging rights. All right.
And you got to remember, like I'm the only one who spent salary. Like I expected Logan to be like 40 points behind us when he left 4K on the table.
I only left 1K on the table. I was proud of that.
I told you either my lineup was going to smash or I was going to finish last. That's how I build.
And to be fair, if you look at it, his snowflakes are not bad snowflakes. Like the Dolphins defense is whatever, cool. J-Mo can always be a smash. Swift, he's got the potential of having those 10 targets. So to be fair, in his defense, it wasn't a bad snowflakes where he just didn't have anyone flame either.
Let's see where your lineup was. Hold on.
What are you saying, Donnie's?
Yeah, Donnie's.
By the way,
so you were dueling me with Jordan Love, Jalen Waddle.
Yes.
And Josh
I was
Jacobs
rooting for
in the
Waddle
final
to
game.
catch instead of the Jonnu stuff.
Jonu, yeah.
Here's what I love about Donnie. He went like political science on you guys. He was like, well, I actually want to vote because my plays were technically better based on skill. Like, no, like it's just you lost. So, like,
but also, I will say, if you didn't steal DJ Moore that one round, because I was picking Moore, I would never have had Rome, and I would have been sitting pretty. So, but I did take the running backs.
You took Rome and didn't take like one of those Green Bay receivers with Love.
No, they were all gone by the time I got to Rome. That's the thing.
You still had Christian Watson.
See,
what did Christian Watson do? I legitimately don't remember a single play he had on Thanksgiving Day.
He got targeted for almost a 90-yard touchdown, and he didn't convert it, which happens like every game with him.
Every time he's targeted.
Does he catch a 90-yard pass to get him like 10 points, or does he get a 0 because he catches nothing? I'm going to be honest, just like this review, it's all over the place because this is the 1 week where I have to work when the Lions play. And there's so many like island games. I hate this week. It's the 1 week where I'm supposed to be excited because my team like has all the attention on them, but the timing gets thrown off. My DFS strategy gets my timing, my podcast, everything's thrown off this week. So if you guys want to steer the ship any direction this week, go ahead.
For those who don't know, the reward for this cage match, which Gov did win.
Oh, there was one, wasn't there?
There was a reward for winning. Gov now has the right to pick the captain of the Christmas Day game, which we will have a lineup for as well. So he's got to start thinking about that.
Which I mentioned that people might have been watching our old content from the off season. We did do a season or a scheduled preview show in which we had a discussion whether the NFL played on Christmas. Gov did not think so. I forgot they actually play on Netflix.
Yes, we get to be miserable while we watch football and realize we can't watch football.
It's very hard for me to watch football while I'm watching basketball all day. That's going to be very annoying.
To be fair, we might have to go to X to watch somebody at the game stream it because it's going to be better quality than Netflix.
Well, I hope they learn from that.
I'm going to say this right now. I had not one bad part of the stream. It didn't buffer. It didn't click. There wasn't like 720p for a second. Y'all need to just pay for better internet.
No, so I have fiber optic network. I'm good on it.
What's your megabits per second?
Literally,
are you getting at least a gig?
Yes. Yes.
You're getting at least a gig internet.
Yes.
You're hardwired?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was not working.
I don't know why. It was fine for me. You guys are just bad system. Check your CPU. You're overheated.
I get 990 at almost all times. It's supposed to be a gig, but it's really 990 about. And it did buffer for me twice near the end, which I kind of expected because it was mainly during the walkouts, when people were switching over to Netflix. And I was mad because I'm a stickler for internet. I did not realize how many people were having trouble though, and people literally had to go to Twitter to watch it. Like
I didn't know anyone was having trouble till after the fights, and I went on Twitter.
Yeah, I just assumed my internet was having a worse day, and some people I guess couldn't watch it at all. So I'm somewhere between you and Donnie, where you got to pay for good internet, you got to expect traffic, but Netflix has got to be better too.
Well,
and
there's a reason why they're getting sued. I don't think they'll lose the suit, but they are getting sued for a reason. Oh, speaking of which, because we haven't talked much about the Thanksgiving Day slate, how about Rico Dowdle doing everything we wanted him to in our lineups? I think we all
I didn't
pretty
want
much
him to do any of that.
Oh, you didn't play him? I thought we all were playing him.
No doubt.
I thought we were all on the understanding we were playing Rico Dowdle.
I love how you cheerleaded him, and I didn't play him either.
You didn't play him either? We spoke about how good of a game environment this was.
I know we spoke about that.
Like,
Yes,
what
but
is
the
wrong with
Cowboys
you guys?
suck, and so does he. No.
What is
I didn't
wrong
play-
with you guys?
I didn't play him or the chalky Cowboys defense.
I know we talked about it, and you were cooking, you were heating it up, you were excited. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let him go. But
I played Zeke.
That's your fault.
I did too.
I told all my friends, do not play Zeke. Do not believe it.
I wanted
It's
the red.
Thanksgiving, man.
Yeah, I wanted the red.
Gotta do it, man.
I wanted the Salvation Army red tub jump. I was like, I only.
They
need
didn't
that
even
touchdown.
try it either. That's what I thought was funny. They didn't give him any of those carries to do it.
Honestly, though, man, I'm just glad this slate's over with. I mean, I have.
This was such a week, like the Thanksgiving. Then you get a showdown on Friday. Then you get the Sunday slate with all the rest of the showdowns, and you end it with Famous throwing 6 touchdown passes.
Now, I love this like, I love it every year. Like, I complain about it, but then it comes around and I talk myself into it and I end up playing it. But then halfway through that week I realized, like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to speed along so I can do my research for Sunday. Oh, and now they're doing a block. So we got another standalone game. Well, shit, that's a chance I can make some DFS money. So then you go back into the show, because showdown and the weekend slate are different. So like, if you're doing showdown, prep, it's way different than week-long prep. And so I'm just glad it's over with. It's really crazy though. I was just going to mention how we're not even over bye weeks. Like, I want to be like, okay, we're over the Germany games. No more international games. We can finally. We still have bye weeks.
Well, I do want to talk some San Francisco Buffalo. Well, San Francisco, we officially saw the death of them with CMC PCL and the Mason injury as well. It's over for them, which is fine.
Please let me pick up Garindo.
But damn it, that's what I'm doing. I'm also doing that.
By the way,
but
speaking of a first look, he's 5,400 this week. He's
chalk. Even against Chicago, he'll be chalk.
He's a lock for me because I already want to play that Chicago game. I love teams coming off of firing.
Can you show my showdown lineup from the Buffalo game? Because I'm so upset about this, Logan.
And you don't normally play it, so I'm interested.
I don't. It was a free one. But this would have been there if that damn punt return didn't get called back. I had it all perfect outside of use check. I know damn CMC stuff. I didn't get in any Niners really, outside of Cooper not doing much. But and use check is whatever. That was a throwaway. But damn it. Oh, it was so close. It was so close.
We don't talk enough showdown. We make fun of Gov because he won last year.
I hate it, showdown. Showdowns I absolutely hate, and this is why.
But I'm going to tell you, Gov is actually very good at showdowns. I actually want his opinion on your lineup here.
Well, I will say, I tried to change my lineup last minute because I forgot to check on the Coleman news. So I was going to take Knox out and turn Knox into Matt Collins, which would have also been the difference. That's why I'm frustrated about it. I had a penalty call back, a touchdown for my defense, and a Matt Collins that I should have had instead of Knox. That would have been better.
I'll be honest. I would have told you to play Knox 100% out of 100 over Mac. Pre-lock.
I literally changed.
Yeah,
that goddamn holding penalty. I don't know who it was, but I'm gonna have to go back, rewatch that game, and then that will be added to the hate list of I don't like you. But Josh Allen caught the touchdown to himself and everything. It was so perfect.
The rushing, the receiving, and the passing touchdown. Oh my God! It was the trifecta all 3 times.
I think I'm the only person who had Cook and Captain Allen that probably didn't cash it without CMC, of course.
I'm telling you, I don't even care that this review show is all over the place.
CMC was in the optimal lineup because he got the 9 points before the end.
There's nothing optimal about the 10K 9 points. Sorry.
Speaking of an injury,
It was better than your Dawson Knox. It was better than your Kyle Juszczyk. It was better than your Amari Cooper.
Not at the price difference.
Not price per dollar. It wasn't.
Even
Well,
price
the Cooper
per
one I'll
dollar
give
is what
you.
got.
The Cooper
like,
one
to
I'll
be
give
fair,
you.
like you were only missing like the kicker from like the optimal lineup. Like you needed to switch out Cooper and Juszczyk and Knox for Mac Hollins, the kicker.
Which I'm
and
not.
Okay, this is the chunky pick, so like you would have had more money to go to CMC in that. But like
my only thing is, and it hurts so bad, is literally as the clock struck 7:20, which was lock 7:20 Central, I had hit the save lineup button to go from Knox to Mac Hollins, and it didn't go through.
Think about all the controversy and just all the football we watched in different iterations this week. I'm so glad that we're getting back to somewhat of a normal week. We're getting rid of as many bye weeks. This is the most important week of basketball. I don't know if you, like I said, I enjoyed this week, but I'm just, dude, we saw a CMC get injured in the game. We saw a concussion, thing with the Texans that's still being talked about. We saw the Thanksgiving slate. We saw, Jameis Winston destruction. We saw so much. It almost felt like we watched 3 weeks of football in 1 week to me.
And the wild Raiders ending as well. Let's not forget that. Like maybe the weirdest part of the week. Like the wild Raiders game made no sense. Oh, and most importantly, the best news of all, Matt Eberflus was fired. How did we not bring that up?
Well, again, Thanksgiving and
exactly. There was so much weirdness. It was like fluke injuries, bad calls, like unprofessionalism, coaches being fired.
The most fights I've ever seen in a weekend of football in my life between college and NFL. Like, what a weird week.
A general manager used a bad word in a press conference, and people like my mom, they're all like buttoned up in white collar, are all mad about it. Like, there's just so much.
Oh, also, I found this out today. So the Jets had hired somebody to help them find. I don't know if they're helping them find the next coach or whatever for the team, right? But their old general manager that they fired, I don't know how long ago it was when they fired. It works for that company. Which is that is so New York Jet football. Oh, I love it.
Actually, since we're off the rails and having fun anyways, we might as well continue with this show being that. What do you think that looks like when you hire a guy to hire a guy? Like who?
When you hire a guy you fired essentially to hire the next guy.
But I'm saying, like, even the role of, like, we're going to hire a consultant so we can find, like, what's that guy actually do? Does he, like, look at your budget report?
I think
what
that's a
value
great
does he bring?
question. Like, because I don't know. How much input do they have when they don't care about?
That's what I'm saying.
Bro, they're a Patriots fan that enjoys watching you guys suffer like me. Like, I would love to give any input on who should be the Jets' next general manager, just so I can laugh at them a little more.
They have to be like a cap expert, right? Like a financial expert.
I don't think so. They have to know, like, they'd have to be scouts, or I don't know. It makes no sense. But then why not just hire those guys to be your general manager?
That's awesome.
Yeah, people are stupid.
Well, it's New York Jet football. Of course it's stupid.
Yeah.
Gosh, I love making fun of the Jets. I that's the only thing I have this season for me. It's just the Patriots suck and they break my heart every week with a last-second loss, it feels. But at least the Jets suck worse. I mean, I love it.
I mean, that's as good a place to end as any. Like we all know the Jets suck. That is the one right thing with football. The Chiefs may be winning inexplicably. The Bills, like the Burrow, everything might be a little iffy and whiffy, but like
it seems like all is calm in the football world.
The Jets suck.
Yeah.
You can say everything's calm. I still feel like we're like 5 minutes into the show and we're 45 minutes and I feel like we've talked about nothing, but that was the football week for me. It was just
Like,
all over the place. I did want to wrap on our best ball, Gov. Now, you said we couldn't talk about best ball.
It's fine this week. It's fine.
This is looking
Fine.
nice.
We got a fun spot here. This is a $100 sweat basically we got going here. If we can make up 20 points this week. And this guy has Brock Purdy basically as his only quarterback, I believe. So, because he has Taysom.
Okay, so he's out. Taysom. Let's look at the two guys ahead of us. Well, the one guy's at 19. We're not.
Yeah,
pitching
it's
him.
only. This is the only guy that can catch.
Okay, so this guy, Henry's out this week. He's on bye.
Okay.
That's big.
That's huge. So now he's got James Cook for running back, James Conner for running back. Who's his other backs? Swift.
So he'd be using Swift against the 49ers, who I think are usually pretty good against the run.
Yep. He's got Cook against who does Buffalo play?
I do not. No.
The Rams.
Okay, so they'll be fine against the run, and then the Cardinals.
Swift is playing San Francisco. Cook is playing the Rams.
The Rams.
And the Cardinals play the Seahawks. So all like that, probably you're not going to get a huge running back point for him this week. You might have one go off.
He is going to get Smith back from the Eagles, it sounds like.
He 100% is down to just Brock Purdy at quarterback with half his Pro Bowlers not going to be playing. So,
but then
he might get Smith back. Otherwise, his receivers are kind of thin too.
Well, Debo got hurt too.
He'll have to take whatever he gets from basically Chig at tight end, Chig or Komet at tight end.
Well, his wide receiver depth is even lower than that because it looks like Bateman's most likely not going to play. He went out late in that game and
who played tight end for him this week? If you scroll up, it was Zach Ertz. So he's probably only going to get like 15 points a max from tight end.
But he needs a touchdown from Ertz to basically get there because there's isn't.
Wide receivers are kind of crap. Like
his receivers
Palmer,
suck.
You might have he's got AJ
St. Brown.
Or he's got St. Brown. Yeah.
So we should be able to pass because if you look at our team again, let's compare.
Yeah, let's look at our team. What can we have go off this?
Well,
like he could legitimately finish last this week in fantasy.
So
and I would not be surprised.
We have Burrow, we have Kyrie.
He has been finishing last.
Elijah Moore, Jamar Chase. Yeah.
McBride's having his best part of the season. You got Hopkins who can always go off.
Ooh, this team is actually spicier than I thought.
Who's underneath that? Kyler's here in a big division game.
Jordan Addison. Kendrick Bourne.
Johnny's favorite, Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, look at that.
Ken Walker, Hawkinson, Franklin, QJ. This team actually has like Millie legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it does.
It's got some bad injuries. Like Miller is a dud. Shaheed hurt. Roman Wilson not being used, JJ McCarthy rip, but like everything else is very solid.
And we have Ken Walker who did nothing this week. Like this team's so good.
Well, it's weird because maybe this doesn't matter to you, but I just think it gives us good luck. Is he has his best player, St. Brown, plays on Thursday. So we'll basically know what we need to get from our team.
Who's the guy behind us? If you go behind us, also I always remember that guy Juggernaut because of Gov obviously has his day. But this guy, he's got a good team here. He could catch up too, theoretically.
See, Allen, Bucky, JT, McLaurin, AJ Brown, Adunze, Bowers, Jonah. That's pretty solid.
That's solid. May's on a bye.
Drake May, Laporta, Wandale, May. Okay, it's starting to be thin. Let's see what else. Justin Fields still thin. Spears thin.
Very top.
He basically needs what he has up top to go off again.
His starters have to carry him because he's.
What about the one guy under him? He's close enough where you have to kind of think about it too. So there's one guy ahead. He had Dobbins too, which had him going in there. Yeah. So
I'd say this is the only other guy who's close enough. Yeah.
So who?
So he's got a Jaden Daniels Tua with Bijan, Chase Brown.
This team is good.
So his running backs are very solid.
And this
Kamara's here. Who else does he got at the bottom?
Hunter Henry. Okay, keep scrolling.
This team's been basically in first place the last
Tua
2 years.
and Bo Nix.
You got
Cooper now on the better
yeah.
team. Kittle.
Yeah.
This
And
makes
this
sense.
team-
His team's actually pretty solid.
It's
These
solid.
are the teams that could definitely get it. We need a good week from Burrow, and we need our running backs to still be solid. And
What's
we're
nice- I don't know if this is just me, like always happy to have it, but we get Burrow and Chase Monday night, so we get the last laugh, if you will.
Yeah, I will say, I think out of these 4 teams that could make it, I think we have the best shot. Truly, I don't think that's a biased take.
Let's take a look at the team that's winning it all. Like
let's
taking
compare it
them
to the
out,
number
but like,
one.
what is the number 1 team that's put up all these points?
He's really good. I remember that.
Lamar, Barkley, Brian Robinson, Judy, Ridley, Jahan, Goddard, and then
Whoa, how did Dotson make his lineup? What's up with his receivers, huh?
Ray Davis. Ooh.
Ray Davis is
Baker,
Wow.
Jahmyr Gibbs,
Wow.
Gesicki, Knox, Justice Hill, Chuba,
I remember we laughed at this team, if I remember right.
Stephon Diggs, Chris Godwin.
That's why. No, he was fine at receiver, but everyone got
Prescott,
hurt.
Ferguson. Keep going down. There's probably another 1 or 2. Zay Jones, Daniel Jones. Okay.
Yeah, he's actually going to really struggle in the playoffs.
Yeah, he just doesn't have enough in the playoffs to really do anything.
I hope we see him.
Our team has so much like depth. I actually am crazy about it now.
Yeah, this is insane depth.
I really want
Truly.
this to get in.
I think we have a very good chance, truly.
I think it will.
Like,
because even
wow.
if like a guy like Thielen falls off, I expect more from Hopkins. I think McBride owes us a touchdown or 2. Like we could do better.
Yeah,
And,
I think this team could easily score 180.
What I like is the main guy we're chasing here has St. Brown on Thursday, so we know what we got to get.
Yeah.
And him having a Henry on a bye week, I didn't even realize that in full transparency.
Week 14 late buys. Yeah, that's
That's
going
a
to hurt a
huge
lot
problem.
of teams.
The
Yeah.
Taysom Hill injury's so big too. Like this guy got really unlucky to finish the season. I will say that. But that's you draft in August or whatever. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
If you looked at our other teams, we have a lot of Trevor Lawrence. I think actually this is the only playoff bracket or best ball bracket where we don't have Trevor Lawrence. We took him in like 80% of leagues. So this is the only
he just
league
fell
we
in a
have
good
him.
spot. And then one of them we had Fields, which he lost the job, and you easily could have said Russ, but at the time it made no sense to think it was going to be Russ.
It's kind of funny to think about. We have a lot of Travis Etienne, and he's been really terrible most of the year. He's actually coming on near the playoffs. So it would be kind of interesting to advance a Travis Etienne team without Trevor, because that could be the difference.
I would love for Kendrick Bourne to be the reason we make it.
It is honestly though, if we're going to talk about a best ball strategy to close tonight, it is the kind of the guys that you carry into the playoffs that make the difference. Because remember, that's when you get more duplicated lineups. So we need those difference makers. It might be a Troy Franklin that we have on this team, who Bo Nix throws to a ton. They've just never converted on.
Yeah, he looked at him in the red zone or for deep shots a lot. They have not hit yet, but there could easily be a game where Franklin has a 25 bomb on somebody, and it's just like, oh, how'd you not see that coming? Well, you did. It's just you couldn't trust it.
Yeah, all the Mims points that we saw last night are the same kind of targets that Franklin's been getting all season.
100%.
They play together in college, so they have chemistry. I like this team a lot. So I won't say gun to your head. Well, I guess I will, because we're not actually going to shoot each other. Do you think this makes it?
100%. I'd be shocked if it doesn't. It would be truly. It would amaze me if it doesn't make it.
Oh, it's entirely possible if it doesn't make it, but it's definitely got a shot.
It's got a real good shot.
Now I think we were 85 points behind going into this week, and we closed the gap pretty strong.
I was about to say, click on the view standings.
Oh yeah, I forgot I can actually view it,
and that'll show us the standings for the week.
Yeah,
no, not head to head. No. Over there, right next to quick view, blue view standings.
View standing. It's all the way above our score.
Yeah.
Yep. So
we had the second best score on the week.
And look at where this guy was. The guy ahead of us, Jason, 90 points this week. Oh my God.
Yeah, I told you he's been doing really bad the last 3 weeks.
Oh my
See,
God.
looking at that, like the guys ahead of us and around us, so like that's the guy right behind us is the guy who was just ahead of us this week.
Right. I think it's one of. I don't think that J-Step guy who had 90 points. I don't think he can make it with the roster he has. He'd be so lucky to get even
Someone's gonna
120
pass him?
points.
I think it's going to be us.
I think it will be us just because we have that. I mean, 25 points is a big gap on somebody. You know,
If not, it might be FF Juggernaut, who we also liked at his team, and his team is really good as well.
yeah, but I think we could still ceiling out for 180 points because we have so much guys in important games right now that have to go off, that are going off.
Yeah.
Only needing to make up 16 points.
So
like,
I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask one favor. We don't play any Brock Purdy because that's basically the one guy we got to fade this week. It's the only quarterback he's got. If Brock has a bad game, he's getting passed. Hopefully it's us, but he's getting passed if Brock has a bad game.
If you look at our quarterbacks, just go to our because he's going to be playing Brock. So if Burrow or
we have
Murray,
Kyler.
if Burrow or Kyler Murray score 15 more fantasy points than Brock Purdy, which is very possible,
then we have a very good shot of just jumping right there.
Then that's the difference.
And what I love about that, though, guys, is we built it right because we have McBride and Chase. So our quarterbacks are stacked. So not only are we hoping they have big games, but we actually did correlate them.
And let's not forget this. So what we want to happen this week is the Seahawks are doing really good. They get a 14-point lead because we have K9. So K9 will get the run load. And then McBride and Murray just go off at the end in garbage time. That we have the script that could get us there.
This will be my last point for the night. But more importantly, to Gov's point, if this team makes the playoffs, that's when I really like this team because I think this team could fuck in the playoffs. I've been telling Donnie that for weeks. This team really is deep, and that's what you want in the playoff round because we're going to have duplicates. You know, there's going to be people that have Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, so we're going to have to be different. And this team has depth.
I have a favor to ask because I think 1369 is the lowest I've seen at this juncture. What does that team look like? I just want to see it.
What team?
The last place team. That's a really low score.
Oh yeah, okay. The overall score, I got you.
Yeah, I can't imagine because he had a good start, but Pacheco.
Ford, Pacheco, Evans, Pickens, Cooks. That's a lot of guys who've been hurt half the season.
Yeah. He has injuries.
Who else is there? Lots of guys have been hurt for sure.
Stroud underperforming, Lamb underperforming, McMillan, Algier.
Lamb fell off.
Singletary, Pierce.
Oh my God.
Dobbs, Coleman.
Polk has been terrible.
Jatavian, Davis Allen winning him. Wow.
I mean, that's just that's so much. I like the lineup at the start of the season. If you showed me that, I would be like, hey, that's a decent team.
I can see people were high in Polk. I don't know how he got to Davis.
Who's his quarterbacks?
It's Stroud and
Carr?
I don't mind this team.
And who is Stroud stacked with?
No one.
No, Diggs. No, it's not. It's Pierce.
No.
I guess Pierce is his own guy.
And who is Carr stacked with?
No one.
No one. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's why.
I don't think he was planning on anything. Yeah.
That's what I was bringing it up.
He never doubled down on any of his picks, for sure.
At least we did that. So if Kyler goes off, then hopefully he brings along McBride and vice versa. I mean.
But he's been super unlucky with injuries, and I think if you told me start of the year this is what your team looks like, I would have been happy enough with it. There would have been a couple tweaks I would have changed, but it is what it is. He got super unlucky.
Closing thought, though, I really enjoyed that we got weird this week, but we got weird in a smart way. Like we told you we wanted 40 points. We got it from one player, 30 points. But I thought we got weird in a smart way. Hopefully, we'll continue to build unique, fun lineups. You guys have been dropping comments about how your lineups have been doing in the comments. We really enjoyed those. Those kind of carry our Discord conversations throughout the week. We have a good time with them. So if you want to continue to do that, some of you shout some good luck to us as well. But don't be afraid, again, to just give us a recap on your week as well. With that being said, though, good night, guys. Have a good one. Take care.
Not everyone.
Peace out, everyone.